You've all arrived at the castle in Ba-Karan. Invited, supposedly by the king himself, to speak with the king himself, as told to you by Keeper of Tomes, Varel Loristina. You took a very awkward carriage ride to get here, because you have all known each other for, 3 hours? If that? But you are out of the carriage. You see the king standing on a balcony above the entrance to the castle. With a kind smile and a kind wave, he then turns and heads inside. And the guards gesture to the lot of you to follow them down this nice, wide, open path to the entrance to the castle. You walk down and you arrive at this beautifully majestic set of wooden doors that slowly creak open as you approach them. As you pass the threshold, you are brought into the main gathering space of this castle, where people come with their questions, their woes, their excitement, their gossip, to bring it to the king of these lands. You come in, passing under the colonnades, and you see sitting ahead of you, up a couple steps on a bit of a dais, King Thassalark himself, as well as another young tiefling boy, sitting in another chair to the left of him, looking not too pleased to be there, looking a little bit more bored. But the king himself looking very attentive, that big smile still being on his face. And as he brings his hands down in kind of a gesture of welcome, he says to you all, "Welcome, adventurers. And first might I say thank you. Thank you ever so much for taking on the task that was brought to us by the keepers of the library. We heard that it was quite the situation after the storm last night, and I am very curious to hear what you all did find. If it was something, in fact, pertaining to the Cricks."
I got pieces on it all over myself, if you would like a sample.
And he kind of, puts up a hand, and you see kind of this look on his face, just that is quite all right. Young man, you may keep those to yourself.
30 elbows Yarrow really hard.
What? It's the king! So? You do that to a guard, you can't do that to the king!
I will say, Your Majesty, we are so grateful for you honoring us with your presence, but I do humbly ask, the issue with Goer tends to be very pedestrian, very civilian. What is it about this situation that brought it to your attention that you were so concerned to meet with the exterminating crew?
That is a wonderful question, and thank you for bringing it up. I will say initially, the concern was brought to us by the keepers at the library, and in between you and me, their sort of franticness regarding the situation, which is completely understandable. We don't want to see all of those wonderful books go to waste or to be destroyed by any sort of other weather or pest infestation. Because it was such a dire situation, they brought their request here. We put out the call to this fantastic group of yours, sir, and you solved the problem. Since you were able to solve it so efficiently, I was hoping, of course, to meet you all in person, like I said, to thank you in person, but also perhaps to see if you would all be interested in being kept on retainer for more similar issues. Not for, and he sees you shaking your head, Yarrow, not a permanent position, if you will. My concern, and the concern of the rest of the city, is that this is not an isolated incident. Personally, I have heard some concerns over the course of the day of more personal residences that have been suffering a similar fate. Not nearly as badly as the library itself. But what I would like to propose, if you would all be amenable to, is that in a couple of days, we would like to see if the Cricks have indeed returned, if there was only one source of malady for them. If it seems that that is not the case, and that perhaps there is an infection elsewhere that you would be capable of and interested in, investigating another nest, investigating some other places where there might be a problem. And since you have so carefully taken care of this first one, I see no reason why not to send such experienced adventurers out to do it again. You would, of course, be compensated quite well. Of course, this is for the entire city, not just the library, not just for the castle and the grounds here. If you do not have accommodations already in the city, you are welcome to stay here. If you have accommodations already, we are happy to pay them out so that you may stay here anyways. If you would like some time to think about it, that is also quite acceptable. Of course, would like to know sooner rather than later so we can reach out to other parties if you are not interested. But as I said, at the very least, just wanted to thank you all in person for your expediency for doing the library a favor.
Frederick immediately grips Wadah and kind of like hunks down. It's like trying to be hush hush, like, Wadah. You know how I'm normally as my students call me, a stick in the mud when it comes to having to do other people's work. Don't rub it in. Well, I mean, the other students, you showed up at the one lecture, it's fine.
I was the only one there.
Don't remind me.
While you're talking to him, Wado's just staring around because he's never been in a castle or a palace before, and he's just like, yeah, whatever you say, Professor, uh-huh.
It's so clean and smooth and there's no sand anywhere.
Well, who do you think is the source of all funding for research? Who do you think is the sponsor of research in this city?
The king?
And that's why you're such a brilliant young ward. If we get on his good side of it this mission, think of how much resource we'll unlock.
Also, I'm pretty sure we were impersonating the people that he sent to the library.
Shh. It's okay. They don't need to know. We did a good job. We exterminated. We'll just play exterminators for a while.
Yeah.
As you turn back, you see that King Thassalak has also turned to his own conversation with this very tall, imposing elven woman. This long, just straight, jet black hair, and like a creamy complexion. And as you all turn back to them, or at least as the two of you turn back to them, their eyes quickly turn to you, and you see that she is holding a scroll that is partially unrolled as if she is showing the king something. That she closes it back up, and he turns to you all again. Please, if you need more time to decide, we would be happy to have a chat over dinner this evening, perhaps? Does that sound acceptable?
Well, I'm never one to turn down a free meal.
Excellent. In the meantime, as I said, you are welcome. You are welcome to stay on the grounds. You are welcome to go back and do about your business, and we will send the guards for you this evening.
Bye!
Again, curtsies very low.
Asmund tips his hat.
I know it's a little late. Could I just kind of think insight on what he's been saying? Like, he's been a little dodgy about some of the details, and I'm just...
Sure, yeah. So, what... Yeah, sure, go ahead and roll insight.
Amanda?
Is that a 1 or a 20?
It's a 2.
Slowly working
That
our
too.
way to the 10.
Started from the bottom.
Still at the bottom.
Do you mind
Did
if
anyone else roll in? Or sorry, Graham.
Do you mind if I roll insight?
Go for it, yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's like 100% improvement.
Man down.
What did I
I'll let you have that if you want it.
Yeah, baby.
What did you roll?
I got out the whammies.
Jesus!
Hey, man. See, the floor is a great dice.
The dice are just so
saying.
excited
I'm
about this
proficient
story.
in this. I know what what's this king thinking? What's he thinking?
Did anyone else want to roll?
I rolled a 7.
Okay, so Frederick and Yarrow, like it seems legit. Nothing that he has said has like tipped you off that anything is like wrong or weird, or like there's nothing to suggest that like yeah it seems legit.
I just want to get out of there.
The way that he is speaking, Phasma, the words all ring truthful. But there does seem to be another concern kind of behind his eyes that he is not verbalizing.
Do you share that with us or not?
Strange friend, are you okay?
I'm curious if he knows what the creature that was in that catacomb was, or perhaps the pockets of darkness. That's what concerns me the most right now.
I'm going to say real quick that this conversation is happening as you are being escorted out of the hall.
Okay. Pockets of pockets of darkness. Maybe I'm curious about that.
Perhaps we can ask him over dinner. Or maybe we should do a little of our own investigating. Well, I guess we don't have access to the library to look this up, but maybe I'll have a scroll somewhere I can look through.
I will give you this, Frederick, since we didn't really discuss it at the start. But the way that the library works, or at least the way that it still works this way, but the way it worked when you first got here, is that you do need like very special permission to go into and study in the inner library. Until you have that permission, you are allowed to access the information in the library, but you would have basically someone go get the books for you. And the person who's been getting the books for you the most amount of time right now is that droid boy. Knock knock.
Callan. Oh, fuck.
He doesn't have a name tag, it's not his fault. So you can imagine you might still be able to get books. It might be a little limited with the kind of construction that they're doing right now on the roofs, but like just because you can't get into the library to dig through a book yourself doesn't mean that you're completely like devoid of information right now.
Perhaps we can look into this a little further.
Why wouldn't we? He's the king. Are we supposed to do what he says?
My young ward, I don't think the concern is the king is lying to us.
Okay.
I think we just need to have a bit more information before we walk into whatever lies ahead of us.
Okay. Well, do we know if the king has, like, was that his son? Was that the prince? Was that prince? I don't know. Who are these people? I'm just saying, if the king knows something, then there has to be someone else here who also knows the same something.
That is a fair point. Is there anybody else? Like, we're being escorted out by guards, right?
Yeah, you're with the guards. They are walking you back towards the carriage.
Oh, we're heading back out to the carriage. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, what time of day is it?
I'm gonna say at this point it's probably getting close to like noonish.
Oh,
I think we started like in the morning, so it's still relatively early in the day. You have several hours to kill before dinner time.
He said we could walk around the grounds? Or he just said...
He said you could walk around the grounds.
But they're escorting us to the carriage.
Yes.
As we're walking, think Wada tugs on one of the guards' capes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, sir, can we, is there a place, where we could maybe get some, like a snack? Cause, all I bought was this, and he holds up the hellish muffin.
It
We'll
looks
probably throw that
fa-
out the
Throw
carriage.
out the carriage?
Oh, we got the carriage, never mind.
No, Wadwigas was following his hot pursuit and
I
caught
think,
him.
I think what the kid's trying to say is there a tavern here?
Well, cause I ran out of muffins, and I mean, do they have muffins at taverns?
They can. The tavern lunch will make anything.
There are not any taverns. Right. Here we can take you to one, or perhaps you would like to go to a bakery instead if you are looking for muffins. There are several around that would be... And he kind of gives you an up and down yarrow and looks at the rest of the group.
The only dirty person.
That would be suitable for this audience.
I mean, anywhere I can make a dime playing some music and have a few rounds of beer, I'm open to.
Before dinner. Really, Yarrow?
The sun is at the highest point in the sky.
Before dinner, Yarrow. How could you?
As far as I'm concerned, it's no longer morning. I can start drinking.
I've met people like you.
That makes sense though, because usually you don't see people playing music in a bakery. So we can go to a tavern.
If you would like, I shall take you to the oaken case.
I'm sorry, the what?
The oaken case.
Oaken case?
Correct.
Does Phasmith happen to know this place by like walking into town? Does he know? I'm curious if he would have like heard.
Give me a... I don't know if it'd be perception or...
Probably
We're doing
not
a lot
perception.
of history. We'll just do history again, because
Yeah,
it's
probably
a
don't.
thing that you would...
Oh no, he doesn't. He doesn't. In fact,
Nope. Nope, you have never heard of this place.
He's-
You've never heard this combination of words ever
All
before.
right,
in your life.
well, just trying to gauge the situation. Can he take a picture of the castle before he leaves? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
I
I
hope-
mean, if you ask the guards,
Yeah.
if you're, I don't know.
Excuse me, sir. Do you mind if I just take a second to? I just wish to take a piece of art with me for my travels, if you don't mind.
Well, of course. Take your time, sir.
Okay. Thank
Sir-
you.
Sir.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
gonna. I'm just gonna set that up real quick and take a nice top half of whatever castle I am. Can't imagine we're like in a particularly great spot for this kind of shot, but he's probably just gonna get some of the tallest towers in the shot at least.
Sure, okay. I was gonna say, I mean, from here, if you've, like, walked out far enough, you can angle the camera so that you get the towers, and you actually get kind of that entry little patio where Thassalark had come out onto. And actually, as you're setting up the camera, you do see him again out there with the boy and with the elven woman. And they appear to just be having a conversation, but also just, keeping an eye out of their side of their eyes.
Okay.
Watching in the
Is
periphery.
the camera pointed at them?
It is pointed in their general direction.
Thurgy goes to tackle
I'm
the camera out of the way.
No.
Okay. Alright.
You see Phasmith kind of already tilted away a little, like, like, you just get a feeling like he's not gonna take this shot, actually.
Well, what I will tell you, as you do point the camera, just a scent of content. Or a sensation of content.
Okay.
If that changes your mind about taking the picture.
See, these are nice people, okay? They seem pretty nice, right? Got a good chat. Okay, take a picture.
I'm gonna back up 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, you're...
Let's call it a grapple.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Because I think that's the best way to do it. Okay, so if you make Thurgy make a strength or an athletics check. Faz, if you could make an athletics or acrobatics check.
Oh no! Oh no!
Ooh.
So that is a 19.
Hold on, that didn't even roll right. Okay. Phasmith goes spiraling off into the sunset.
Oh my god!
This is blasting off again!
Okay, so what I will give you for rolling another natural one, Phasmith, is that you are able to protect the camera from Thurgy. And you are able to kind of redirect her lunging at you.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly you blink, and all of a sudden you are on the ground with this half-orc woman sort of lauding over you.
What are you doing? You said that this thing captured souls and, like, killed people. Why are you pointing it at the king?
I'm trying to see if I can help it.
Help what?
It's a long story. I'm trying. I think it feels things. And if it can, I just feel like if I can help it remember or see parts of the world that are worth seeing, maybe. Maybe it won't do what it did before.
What did it do before?
All of the guards. They're standing on kind of the edge of the path, all watching with their arms crossed, attentive, listening.
Is it broken?
No, I don't think so.
Can I see it?
But I don't think it's worth trying to understand it for a bit. Thurgy, would you be willing to hold on to this for a bit?
She looks very suspiciously at it, takes the, like, velvet cover thing, and again covers the lens. It's like, fine.
Thank you.
Now let's take a silly one.
So I think once that sorts itself out, kind of as it's happening, I think Ben has kind of sidled her way away from the rest of the group towards one of the guards.
Okay.
And once the danger question mark has passed, turns to ask a question. You wouldn't happen to know, sir, are our names known to His Majesty?
And he, like, looks at you over his shoulder. Still, like, arms crossed, eyes kind of trained a little bit more on the camera situation and just making sure that that doesn't devolve into anything else. And he leans over to you. Sorry, I don't get paid nearly enough to know what's going on. I am just here to help escort and make sure things are safe. I know he hired... I think he knew it was a group of people of a particular makeup. Truthfully, I don't really get paid enough to know what's going on in the, inner circle, I guess. I know it was a group of a particular makeup, such as yourselves, so...
That's alright, thank you.
And he kind of, like, creases his brow. And stands back up. And his watch is on you now.
Shit.
So, 2 of the oak in case or no?
That's where I'm going. I don't know about the rest of you. Otherwise, I'll see you at dinner.
I'm ready. Let's go get sloshed.
Bye!
See, one of the guards, uncrosses his hand and just like, bye. But they open up the doors of the carriage for you guys, help you all in, close the doors, and the carriage takes off. Before arriving at the open case, is there anything that y'all would like to talk about? Have any kind of conversation? Or would we like to go directly to the tavern?
Go to the tavern.
Okay.
So get smashed.
So it's a much shorter ride to the tavern than, of course, all the way to the library. As you can discern, you are staying on the northern side of town. Carriage doors open and you are let out. And this is a nicer tavern, but a tavern all the same. Because it is just rounding the noon hour, it does not seem to be particularly rowdy yet. There are, of course, a couple of patrons who are already inside and totally off their butts. But you walk in, it's a very open space, very clean. You can see the bar all the way up at the back, just directly straight from the door itself. And you see that there's a slew of tables, some that are out in the open, some that are more in like little nooks, little booths to sit at. And you see the tavern keep, who is another tiefling, but with more of like an umber coloring, and shorter horns that just stick up a little bit. Nothing fancy. They give you a wave in greeting and kind of gesture for you to sit wherever you would like to sit. So where would you like to sit? Or what would you like to do? I should ask.
So I'm going to stride right up to the barkeep.
Okay.
And, hello, sir. Ma'am.
Ma'am, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. How can I help you?
Yes, do you have any rooms available at this tavern?
Oh, I believe we may have one or two available. Are you looking to stay for the evening?
Yes, please.
All right.
I'm prepared to pay either in gold or I can perform here. I have an engagement in about 6 hours, but I'm happy to do the work until then.
Wonderful. Well, we normally don't see a particular flux of patrons for another few hours, but if you would like to play, you are more than welcome. Is this just for you? Is this for your friends as well?
I mean, I'm not staying in the castle, guys, but if you want me to get you a room, I can.
Why not?
I just don't trust castles, royalty, any of that.
I probably would wish to stay here for the night as well.
Oh,
We have lodgings. Wait on. I think we're okay.
that's
They-
blue, you know.
But if they want to stay outside the castle, they can stay outside the castle. It's not our business.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess 2 rooms.
2 rooms it is. Not to pause the recording. I'm not going to make you guys pay for, like, things that are necessities in order to, like...
Okay.
So, like, I just... If it's something that's, like...
I'm going for just context of playing in the bar, which is what I'm...
Yeah, that's... Yeah. No, you can play to stay. Faz will need to pay, though, if he is going to be staying.
Yeah.
Unless you are going to share a room, then...
Well, I guess Thurgy has the evil box. So, Faz, if you want to crash with me for free, you can, but I can't imagine it'll be comfortable.
I would... Well...
I am a bit of a sleep farter.
Jesus.
Hey, I've got a cloak. You know, some of us...
That's fair.
just comes out.
I would... I understand I have asked her to hold on to it for now, but of course I would still like to keep it on me for the night, if you don't mind, because, well...
You're just not getting it back in the castle.
No, I understand that.
Okay, I'm not comfortable being with the box.
Then I will get
So-
my own room. I understand.
Sorry, but
Okay. I will get
my
you...
soul stays here. Yarrow kind of indicates it his chest.
And the tavern keep just kind of looks at you like... Okay, so 2 rooms?
Yes,
You will
please.
be playing for one and paying for the other.
I have money, right?
Do you?
I'm not sure I have it on my current, character list. Wait.
You should have something.
I should have something.
Yeah.
I definitely rolled for money.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got something.
You
I
know
don't
what?
know where
I want
it
the
is.
DM to definitely
Back.
bankrupt us.
Back? I don't think it's...
Well, actually, no. You all were. Sorry, I kind of glazed over it, but the Varel did give you all the reward.
Hey! Alright, cool.
So you guys do have
No, I
money.
thought the reward was the access scroll.
It was the access scroll and money.
Oh.
So yeah, you guys do have money. I regret to inform I don't remember how much it was, but we'll get that back
an
to you guys
amount.
later. It is a generous amount. So yeah, you have
Guessing
there's
enough for a room. More than a nice tavern by the castle.
exactly more than enough for that.
Free
So,
lodging
yeah.
at taverns, and Baccarat!
Oh my god. Okay, so you both get your keys to your room and are shown to, there's a set of stairs that's off to the side that you can go up, and the rooms are up there.
So I toss my stuff, kind of wipe myself down and make myself presentable.
Mhm.
And then come down and just begin, take a seat relatively near the center.
Okay,
And just begin playing, putting on a show.
we'll say that they're, so since you mentioned to the guard that playing was your, or playing something was your goal, you can tell immediately that the reason that he took you to this tavern is because there is a little stage in the center of the space. As you can garner from all of the traveling that you've done, they're expecting people to play music, whether they have it arranged or not. Luckily, it's early enough in the day that it doesn't matter if anything was arranged ahead of time, so you are
And
good
be
to
out by
go.
dinner.
Exactly. What the heck are the rest of you up to?
I think... I don't know about Wadal, but I think Frederick is going to go back to his apartment for now and just kind of look over his scrolls again to see if he finds any information regarding the black spots or that creature that they saw.
Okay.
Or even if possible to go to the library and ask for some books if I have time.
Okay, so let's pause real quick to see what the others are doing.
Yeah,
to see
that's
if
just me saying this is what I'm planning to do.
Okay. Ben and Thurgy, what are... Because I assume Wadal you'll be going with Frederick, or do you want to do something else?
I think Wada would check with Frederick that they're... Oh, if you're gonna go and come back, then I'm gonna stay here and watch. Okay. And he would hang out to watch Yara perform. I think
Okay.
while he's performing, though, Wada would be trying to look at the death box a little bit
Okay.
and maybe do a check.
Let me see
We'll
what the
see.
other two are up to. Ben and Thurgy.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick around the tavern.
Okay.
Thurgy's gonna order a glass of rosé.
Perfect,
and
excellent.
just keep an eye on this death box.
They even have a sparkling rosé.
She might even have 2 glasses.
What kind of tavern is this? It's grog and more grog, usually.
I mean, it is, pretty close to the palace.
That's fair.
Ben?
So I think Ben is probably also going to try to get back to the library.
Okay.
She's on a mission.
Okay.
Benjamin, you and I will go.
That's not my...
All right. Well, let's start with our tavern folks since we're at the tavern, and then we'll jump to the library folks. So, Yarrow, you are what kind of music are you playing? What's the vibe?
Pretty upbeat. Alternative rock of the 80s and 90s.
Oh, so Duncan Chic, okay.
We're generally kind of a mix of biolaki music and flute music.
Beautiful. Okay.
Except I cannot do both at once, just based on the mechanisms of the
Of
instruments.
course.
You got a cloaca.
But we can. Yeah, but I only have 2 hands, so
You got toes, right?
not very good
Got
ones.
dexterous toes.
Vampire toes. No, falcony, yeah.
Yeah.
Raptory, yeah.
All 3.
It's the heat. And
Okay.
generally without, pausing. It is just constant, occasional sips of beer between songs, but never stopping for more than about 30 seconds or a minute.
Excellent. Give me a performance check.
17.
Oh yeah. You notice immediately that the people who are already here, as you start playing and as you start kind of getting into it, that they are definitely listening. They are definitely enjoying your music. Clearly also, your other newly found compatriots. listening and hopefully enjoying as well. Hopefully that's not a stretch of my power. But you notice that it seems to be even drawing people in. Over the course of the time that you're playing, while the others are out, more and more people start to come in, and it starts to feel a little busier. The vibe is a good vibe. It's just kind of those good bopping beats, and like everybody's having a good day. The sun's out, the tank is clean, so on and so forth. You're just enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Having some good rosé.
Good rosé is if Phasmith is around. I don't know if they're hanging out in the room or not, but I would like to have more of a discussion about this.
Where are you
box.
hanging out?
I'm checking. I would like to be in the bar. Yeah. I'd like to see. Is there anyone around that I would? How do these characters usually do this kind? Are there any shady types?
Roll perception.
Okay.
You mean anyone like you?
Yeah.
Would you like new
was
dice?
that another one? wait. Oh god.
Yeah, that's another one. Okay, get another set of dice, please. That's another one. Okay. So we're gonna use that last roll.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
You do not see any shady types in this bar,
right.
even over the course of time.
I didn't think this close to the castle anyway.
Yeah.
Can you just kind of like turn around to like the you said the tiefling bartender?
Yep.
Can I go up to them instead and kind of ask them like, "Hey, I have some questions because I'm not around the area. Do you mind if I Hello. My name's Phasmith. I'm not from around here, and I'd like to ask you some questions if you don't mind."
I suppose it depends on the kinds of questions, but I will answer what I can.
I'm sorry. What's your name? My name's Phasmith. And
My name is Hestia.
Hestia. Thank you. I'm hoping to check in on. I'm gonna motion to Thurgy. Have you seen a device like this before?
You take it out and like unveil it and everything, and she looks around it, and like gestures to like, can I touch it?
Yeah.
To like spin it around, and she moves it across the table and like looks around. It's like, is it a chest of some kind? Does it carry something inside? And she like puts her hand on the cap to like go and pull it off.
I put my hand on the motion away from the cap. It's like a telescope. It's got you don't want to scuff it too much.
Oh.
That's the problem.
My apologies.
I was just hoping to see if you knew if there was a type of craftsman around who might know what this device might be.
And she thinks for a second, and then turns back to you. I'm afraid I cannot think of anyone off the top of my head, but there are plenty of people that come through here. If you're staying the night, of course, I'm happy to ask our patrons if they know anyone, and let you know in the morning.
If you could, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Really might have to just head back up to the vault.
Can I see it?
Sure. You know what not to touch, so I can't see why not.
Waydot takes it, and as an artificer, Waydot has double proficiency on checks for magical items and alchemical gifts and stuff.
Mhm.
And I would like to have Wadwigas help me do an Arcana check on this thing.
Okay.
To try and figure out what it is.
So roll that with advantage. You see Wadwigas, his mouth just opens up, and his eyes kind of turn this glowy color and start rotating like a chameleon, like he's trying to scan it with his shark sonar.
Teeth is just rotating.
Real good. What's the phrase? Good mouthfeel?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Arcana or Investigation?
Arcana. Because you're looking for like magical properties and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
There is definitely something about this contraption that magical doesn't feel quite like the right word. but it's definitely not just some kind of mundane object. It doesn't feel, but it doesn't feel like there's like a spell cast on it, or that it was enchanted. Like, maybe enchanted is kind of the closest thing you can pin it to, but there's something else to it that's not quite, it's not a spell, but like, it almost, there's something about it that seems alive. And it's not something that you've ever, like, seen before, which is why you're having trouble placing it with such a high roll. And not, like, alive in the way that Rodriguez is alive. Like, alive in the way that, like, you're alive. Unless Rodriguez is alive in the same way that you're alive, and Rodriguez has a soul, and we just haven't talked about it yet. So.
We'll see.
You're the player, you're not supposed to say that!
Arcana check on Rodriguez! Cool.
Okay.
Waitha very carefully, after kind of holding it down for Rodriguez to see at shark height, and then lifts it up and kind of looks around it, and then carefully, politely puts the cover back on.
After you put the cover, Rodriguez, like, skirts forward with his mouth closed and just sniffs it, like, then backs up.
So, what do you think?
You said it feels things.
Yeah, sometimes I feel something from it too, just by holding it. And
Does it feel good or bad things?
yeah, it does. It back at the library, I remember seeing that place in a dream, and I thought to myself, okay, this is a place it wants to go for a reason, maybe. And I wanted to see if, but, well, you saw, it wasn't in the same condition that it might normally be, that library. So, it wasn't happy about that. So.
It didn't look like the drawing? So it gets mad when it doesn't look like it's supposed to.
I suppose so. I've been trying to figure out if it has any patterns. It's difficult to say. But, it came along, and, I can't be sure if it was really a good or bad thing at the time. So, I'm trying to, if I can't figure out what its nature is, then I'll have to lock it up.
Waitha is just nodding really intently this whole time and is like, I'm gonna have to think about this one. And she's kind of like, okay, just looking down at the camera and watching other people drink and nodding.
Does your aerodynamic football, does it also feel things?
Oh, Rodriguez?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's just happy.
You're gonna
Pretty much all the time.
against the floor as he kind of gets closer and his fin is scratching the floor to, like, lean into you.
Hey.
I mean, I made him, so, and I want him to be happy all the time, so.
That's a good mentality. I like you.
Thanks. I like you too.
Nods.
Drinks in silence.
Just hand throw it. Like he's just back to the bar with the box just collapsed under the one arm, just like drumming on it like,
It's been a long day.
Casper, should we be concerned about how this came into your possession? I mean, earlier you mentioned about cavorting with people that met unseemly fates. I just wonder if there's some sort of a pattern going on here.
As far as I was able to tell, that's the only time That was the first moment I found this device, and something happened. And that's part of the problem. It was the only time something like that had really happened like that. And I'm trying to figure out if this really was responsible for... A lot of people just don't remember what happened. And
There's a sense of graciousness that passes through you.
Give it a little pat. Give it a little pat. Cheers!
Thurgy very hesitantly holds out her glass. Just like she's quite suspicious of everything that is going on with Phasmith, but also doesn't want to insult. So, we'll cheers.
Actually, if I may ask, you mentioned earlier an amulet that you had.
Mhm.
Was it also magical in some way? I don't know if you had a chance to...
I think it must be, but honestly, it was taken so long ago. The stories about what it is and what it can do have probably been exaggerated over time, so I don't really know what's true or not about it.
Alright. Just figured I'd ask. I wasn't sure. Maybe I figured with a town name such as Soul Cinder, or rather a city name such as Soul Cinder, maybe it had some relation to the name of your city. Or...
It came from there, as far as I know.
Alright.
Okay. Should we swap over to our library group?
Books, 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 books. Everybody.
Typical of the librarians going to the library.
Yep.
So here's
Nerds.
my
Nerds,
first
yes.
question for you. You are both going to the library. Are you going over together? Did you tell each other you were going to the library? Or are you just, like, awkwardly walking in the same direction for 20 minutes?
Yeah.
It's that last one, unfortunately.
So, yeah, y'all are... And actually, you know what? Give me... Okay, this is gonna sound more harsh than it actually is, but give me a survival roll. A survival check.
You die of
Dysentery.
dysentery.
On the way to the library.
Look, man, shit happens, okay?
You are also tackled by Thurgy.
That's a 14.
Okay?
So I'm still rolling with disadvantage.
That's an 8.
I'm doing better than you.
So, Ben, you are familiar enough with this city that you know kind of where you are, and you know where you need to get to. Frederick, you are also kind of familiar with this city. However, I'm going to adventure to say, unless you have a reason otherwise, have not spent any time in this portion of the city.
Haha, no.
So, which one of you leaves first?
I have long legs.
True, but you were also talking to Wada.
That is fair.
Whereas Ben wasn't talking to anybody. Ben probably just slipped out the door as soon as y'all were distracted.
That is fair.
Are you trying to do it stealthily, or are you just...
I think she's just going.
Okay.
Full Irish goodbye.
Yeah.
So, like, y'all would have noticed that Ben had disappeared at some point during all of the rooms set up and Yarrow getting prepared to play and the rest of these guys getting drinks. And then you leave shortly after Frederick. So you, like I said, Ben, you generally speaking know where you're going, but there's a couple turns where you feel like you get a little turned around, and as you are doing so, you reach an intersection in which you suddenly realize that you've been going the wrong direction, and as you turn back to head in the correct direction, you see a very average-looking 40-year-old man standing in the middle of an intersection, looking one way, looking the other way, looking back down that first way, looking the other direction, hands on the hips,
Oh,
looking
yes.
back down, and then turns around and you see Ben standing behind you.
Absolutely refusing to ask for directions. Just... Yep. I know it's one of these ways.
What are you doing?
I'm just on my way to the library. like you, I was assuming.
Yeah, except it's that way.
Thank you, Benderson. Well,
That's not my name.
let's... Shall we go together, then?
It's just Ben.
Sure, Ben.
I guess. Sure.
Together with the power of your memories of this city, you make it back to the library
We
in one
make
piece.
one whole and entire person.
Sure.
But yeah, so you make it back, and you get to the first set of gates that brings you into the courtyard. You see the usual slew of the priests that stand outside the gate that are like I forget the name of the god, but it's like the god of writing. So they're always the ones who are stationed outside, and they give you a nod, seeing that you were with him. You come in and out so many times at this point. As you walk into the courtyard, you see over by the Emerald Gate, of course, Callan, who has not clocked out early because why could he?
Mood.
And you see a group of people that are standing in front of the Emerald Gate talking to him. And it is a much more particular group than, say, the gaggle of folks that were out trying to get into the library before. This is definitely not people who work here. No traces of purple on any of them whatsoever. And not necessarily scholarly-looking people. But there are 6 of them. One of them is a tall, feathered gentleman. Just like white feathers with like spots of black kind of like cascading over him, wearing a big, hefty suit of armor, big sword on his back. There is a woman who actually, similar likeness to Thurgy, but this like glowing swampy green skin, bright copper hair in these perfect ringlets. Standing there beside him, there is a very small kind of, you guess a goblin, perhaps, the way that the ears kind of stick out from under their hat, that has a collection of instruments on their back that are almost bigger than it is. There is a tiefling woman, sort of like a red clay colored, horns that kind of curve down and come back up. Lightly armored, but more kind of like clerical clothing. There is a sort of a tall, lanky figure that's wearing like a giant cloak, big like brimmed hat. And you see like these 2 lanky arms that are sticking out of it. Can't really make out who or what it is. And at the front of this group, having a conversation with Callan, is an average 40-year-old human woman.
I'm immediately in love and I cannot wait to show her a mediocre time.
But so yeah, you see them having what appears to be, they're having a conversation. They are all very like keyed into Callan, and Callan seems to be a little sweating under his collar a little bit.
Ben immediately grabs hold of whatever part of Frederick he can get to, be it shirt, be it arm, whatever, to pull him back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Shit, fuck!
So what?
That's who the king was expecting!
Okay.
Not us!
Yes, but they didn't do the job. We did.
But we'll get in trouble somehow!
We're just an exterminator company now. Woo!
We're not! We barely know each other!
But what did we do this morning?
We got lucky!
By exterminating something.
We could have died!
But we didn't.
No. But we don't know what's gonna happen if the king finds out. They're gonna tell him.
Frederick just kind of like thinks about it for a second. It thinks about how far are we from them?
So if y'all are at the entrance to the courtyard, they are at the emerald doors. I'm gonna call that like... And tell me if this is unrealistic. In order to be able to kind of see them to that level of description, it's called 100 feet.
We're not like right up in their grill or anything.
No. You also know Callan at this point, so you can see when he's like pressed, and you also know how stressful the morning has been for him so far. So
yeah. So, Julian, you're gonna hate me for this.
Why would I ever hate you, Steve?
Ha. Do we know any back entrances to the library?
God.
Okay, here's what you know about the library. I'm going to give this to you roll free because you've been studying at this library for a while. There is one entrance to the library and one entrance to the inner library. You are technically right now on, if you have gone through the gate, you are on library grounds. There are no back entrances. Everyone, Keeper of Tomes themselves, comes through these gates every single day. In fact, there are wards put in place to prevent people from coming in any other way than the gates.
It's just fucking books. So with that then, I think...
And just to reiterate, they, where you and Wada have been staying is kind of in, the southern part of the courtyard, so you don't need to go into the inner library is, the special, super secret, special awesome place. But you've still been able to research up until this point here. There are, these pillars that are in the northern part of the courtyard that you can go and study in there. There are silent spells that are cast upon the rooms so that you're not bothering other people. And this is where the adjuncts will bring you books that you request or any other information that you request.
Right. But to get to the inner library, you have to go into the main library first? Or is it a separate entrance?
Yeah, you gotta go through the main gates to
Okay.
get to the Emerald Gate.
Sorry, I'm lost here. So where is this party at?
They are at the Emerald Gate.
Which is the inner library gate.
Correct.
So we're in the main library. Or we're able to get into the main library?
You
then?
are in let me show you the map real quick. So it's like this. So there is the entrance to the library grounds
Okay.
here. All the way across the courtyard is where the Emerald Gate is. Y'all have been staying down here. This is where the study pillars are.
The library's like a whole campus.
It's
Yes.
a complex.
Oh.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Okay.
very much so.
Got it.
Yes. Yeah. And then behind the Emerald Gate is a series of towers that are of all different builds and architectural styles and everything that everyone can see from outside of the walls, but you just can't access them other than through the Emerald Door with the special permissions from whomever.
So is there a place to hide near the Emerald Door that we could potentially stealth to?
Yeah, there's these buildings that are up
Okay.
in the corner. One of which is a clothing shop. I don't remember if the other one is detailed or not. Yeah, we'll say it's just the one, and it's this clothing shop that provides all of the robes and everything, and also will repair garments for people that are traveling and that sort of thing. So yeah, you can stealth through, and there's enough people kind of meandering through the courtyard. So,
But if we want to overhear them, will we be close enough?
Different question. Is that clothing shop within 30 feet of them?
if that courtyard is 100 feet across, opening to the same fucking page, yes.
Okay.
I will say that there is a spot where you could get that would be within 30 feet.
Okay.
So yeah, you guys can certainly try if you would like.
So we'd like to try to get close to hear them without them hearing us.
Okay. Give me some stealth rolls, please.
I have horrible news.
Oh no. Did you both roll poorly? What'd you roll, Ben? 5? Frederick.
Because I can only do, go big or go home, I rolled... Sorry, this is stealth. I rolled a 24.
Hey, very nice.
I'm
Okay.
rolling with disadvantage.
Okay, so collectively that's not that bad as as a group roll.
Hiding behind Frederick. Quick, use your averageness to...
Blend in!
You're so mundane. They'll never notice.
This is the one with, horns and, stars in their eyes.
The only one who could possibly notice is another average person.
They're blinded by the touch of gray.
I smell the mundane.
It's high noon. That's how it's blinding in that sunlight.
So the two of you kind of mosey your way through the crowd, one more gracefully than the other, but because you are doing it together, then you are able to kind of slip in with Frederick unnoticed. You find your way around the shop and find a little nook that you take a look at it, and there's a moment that strikes the both of you that you are not sure whether that is going to be sufficient enough to hide you from this conversation. But it would get you close enough to be able to hear or to do whatever you were intending, then to be within 30 feet.
Yeah, she's gonna YOLO this.
Okay. So what do you do?
So, I think Ben tries to get to that point
Okay.
to cast Thaumaturgy
Okay. What you doing?
to create a sound at a point that will turn the attention of the group away from the door.
What is the sound, and where is it pointed?
It is the sound of roof tiles falling.
Okay. And where is it? It's coming from behind them?
From above, I think.
Okay.
So, not necessarily at the roof itself, but the sound of roof tiles falling from some point within 30 feet above her that would theoretically convince someone to look up to go, oh shit, there's roof tiles falling on me. And before doing this, warns Frederick, be ready to run. Don't ask questions, be ready to run.
I'm an academic,
Don't
but
ask questions.
let's go.
Okay. You cast this spell. And you would all hear it as well, sort of being within that 30-foot range. And Frederick, suddenly you hear the sound of roof tiles coming down, like crumbling from above you. You see that group that's talking with Callan, and Callan himself. Suddenly their postures drop, their knees bend, their shoulders come up into their ears. You see the feathered dude reach back to his sword and pull it out. And you see some of the others kind of prepare for something. And they all look up, Callan included. Frederick, what is your reaction to this?
I'm aware that Ben was going to cast this, right? Like,
Are you? Did
was
you
it
tell
clear
him?
enough?
All I said was, be prepared, don't ask questions.
I think I'm ready to start some shit today.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm in.
All right, cool. So, yeah, you see the entire group, Callan included, and everyone else who is in the courtyard within that radius all look up to the empty sky. What do you do?
Run.
Where?
Hadn't thought that far ahead.
Into the library?
That was the plan, except I remember now that the door doesn't open.
Uh-huh.
Ben did not think that far ahead.
Mm-hmm. When, you know what? Give me a...
And she's swearing profusely the entire way over as she remembers this.
I was gonna say, give me just a general... Let's call it an intelligence roll.
That could have been a lot worse. 18.
I'll give you this. You set off, and about 5 or 10 feet into this trek, you suddenly remember that the Emerald Gate is not an open gate. That is a solid, opaque door. Everyone, at this point, you start to hear kind of the sounds of confusion. And this group's still looking up and starting to look around, but has not clocked you yet. What do you do?
Question.
Answer.
Do we still have our rings?
No.
We don't have our rings.
Actually, you know what? Sorry, I never had her. You do have the rings. I never did have her explicitly ask for them to be returned. The rings are for the canal gates.
As far as we know.
Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do, Frederick?
So what's the situation right now? We are 10 feet away from the
We
corner?
got 10 feet. Ben skidded to a halt and is swearing profusely.
I'm gonna grab Ben and say, we're not done yet, and continue running for the emerald door.
The swearing increases.
You keep running, and you notice that as you get closer, in the swearing and in the now sort of making yourselves a little bit more known, the tiefling turns.
Shit.
Their eyes just a blank white canvas. Their eyebrows crease and look at the two of you like, what the fuck is going on? And they brace themselves, and you see them start to, like, motion to the rest of the group, clearly perceiving you as a threat. What do?
My goal is to run past him and just slam into that emerald door and hope to God the rings work.
Oh, Lord.
'Cause where else are we going?
Mm-hmm.
Ben panics and kind of freezes where she is,
Mm-hmm.
stumbling backwards every now and then and into Frederick, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And her hands immediately come up in a gesture of, oh god, I don't have anything.
Okay. And you see Ben doing this, and you see that at this point it's just the tiefling facing you, and the others in the group are just starting to turn to clock you. No one else has drawn weapons at this point. But you see that the tiefling has their hand on something, ready to pull.
I think we can kind of like, whoa. Whoa, we're not attacking. We're not doing anything.
Says the people who were running directly towards us.
Not at you, no.
Then why?
We've been waiting all morning to get into the library, and we find out now that the whole roof is caving, and we're just trying to find out what the heck is going on.
You see Callan, just hands on his face, rubbing his eyes, and just like kind of looking to the sky. It's just like, oh god, why does it have to be today? Why is this? The roof is not caving in, Frederick. It's fine. I don't know what the fuck that just was, but there ain't no fucking roof above us. And you see, as he says that and like pointing towards the sky, you do see a crick flying overhead, and you do hear a tink 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 as something hard, a tiny piece of roof tile, bounces off the ground of the courtyard.
See?
And you see the tiefling's shoulders kind of drop, like, ugh. But the human woman in the middle steps forward. Says, "Please forgive my companion. She's
Oh, I
a
love
little-"
this. Sorry.
Oh Lord, she is understandably a little quick to respond to and up and down threat. You're trying to get into the library yourselves as well?
Oh, yes, I don't know, I'm just an academic, and the library is pretty much where I live and breathe, so to have such a horrible constructional disaster here just puts a damper my work and my mood, you know, it's just, I'm a career man.
Of course, I completely understand. Now, there appears to have been some kind of misunderstanding that we are trying to get cleared up. And I do believe that once we have it cleared up, the library will be open again. You'll be able to get in and get all the books that you need. So, and she kind of turns and looks to Callan, and turns to look back to you. If you don't mind, we were in the middle of a conversation with our friend here.
That is fair. I apologize for disrupting you. And, Caldwell, I hope you're having a great day.
He just yeah, thanks. Alright, cool, dude.
May I ask your name first?
Caroline.
That is so human. Sorry, that's meta. That is so human.
And what, by chance, is your name, good sir?
I am Professor Nulltide, but you, my dear Caroline, can call me Frederick.
Well, Professor Frederick, it's very nice to meet you. And she holds out her hand very, like, daintily for a handshake.
Frederick is a little self-conscious of the fact that When he says career man, he's out there in the dirt, in caves. His hands are not nice. But he accepts it all the same.
And she, just a gentle squeeze of the hand, exactly what you would expect it to be. And it's a pleasure to meet you. I imagine we'll be seeing you around.
Of course. Nice to see your lovely party. Now, my friend Bendleberry, let's
That's not my
head
name.
back.
That's still not my name.
I think I have some scrolls we could still look over. Maybe there's some information in my apartment that you may be able
Okay,
to
great.
find.
Let's go. Thank you. And Ben tries to just hurry him away from this whole situation.
Mm-hmm. As you turn, you see Caroline going back to the conversation with Callan as the two of you go back out into the courtyard towards the apartments.
Yes. My apartment specifically, I'm assuming.
Excellent.
We are so fucked.